Alright guys, so it's Lee Godbold, Junk Removal Authority. We help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. You guys are looking for premier digital marketing and branding for your junk removal business, consulting, junk removal trucks, check out junkra.com. Alright, so this is another segment of Ask Lee, or whatever we're going to call this, where we send out surveys asking what kind of information and questions you'd like me to cover in a video. In this particular question, I wish I had the individual's name that posted it, but we'll try and do that in future segments. This particular question was, how can you be a manager that your employees like, love, respect, all that kind of stuff? So, you know, this is it's a great question. I don't know as if it is 100% the right question, which is, how do you be a manager that your employees like? Employees liking you and respecting you are a really great thing. It has to be all work-related things. So the first thing is, you're not going to get an employee to necessarily like you or love you and do your job as a manager by being their friend. Now, you can be friendly with them. Maybe you become a friend, but that shouldn't be the primary motivator when you're dealing with the employee. The main thing with employees, number one, it's got to be the right person. So you have to have hired somebody that has the demeanor that they want to excel at work, that they want to improve, that they want to do a good job, and they have to have the demeanor that, hey, you know, I can recognize when I have a good manager and I'm going to respect and listen to that person. There's certain employees out there that no matter how good you are, they are just like wired to be like anti-authority and all that kind of stuff, and you're never actually going to get that individual to like you or respect you, whatever. You need to avoid that type of person. But let's say we have the right person. What can you do as a manager? Well, one, you've got to give them time. So as a business owner, I can say, you know, right now that as a business owner, there are a few individuals that I have a lot of interaction with. Like right now, we're in a period of transition on the Google Ads department at JRA. I'm actually the department manager for JRA, so those individuals get a lot of time with me. I would say they certainly respect me, and I think and like me. There's other segments of the company where I'm able to not spend as much time, and they're going to judge the company. They're going to judge me based upon the status of where the company is. So what's important for those individuals that you don't directly manage is you have to get them a manager that they like and respect. And if they like and respect their manager and they believe in the direction that the company's going, then they're going to like and respect you as the business owner. So when you're directly managing somebody, give them time, answer their questions when they have them. And this can be a difficult thing when you're building a business and all. You need to try and prioritize, keep your door open. In the case of running a junk removal company, make sure they understand that you are available to speak and answer questions and all like that. And when they come to you, stop what you're doing, look at them, and prioritize them. Don't act like you're distracted working on something else. And nobody's perfect at this, by the way. But stop what you're doing, look at them, give them the time, answer the question. Or if you don't have time to answer the question, then schedule time with them and say, hey, let me wrap up what I'm doing right now, and then so-and-so time, let's get together and let's kind of work through that. So giving them time, that's the next thing. The next thing is setting expectations. Tell them, what can you do to succeed at your job? They need to know how they can win. They need to know how they lose. So if there's certain things they should not do throughout the course of action, they got to make sure they know it. If there are certain things they need to do really, really well, you got to make sure that they know it. So in the case of running a junk removal company, it's showing up to work dressed in uniform, having a clean uniform, ready to work, got energy, not tired, half asleep, anything like that. You're ready to tackle the day. You have enthusiasm. That's what you're going to tell employees. Hey, that's what you need to do. You need to know how to talk with customers, practice sales. You got to be really good at closing a job. You need to close a job at least 90% of the time. So give them a number. If you can give a KPI or number where it takes it from being subjective and into an actual number that they can measure their success, that's great. So in the case of junk removal, closing 90% of your jobs plus an average job sale of whatever it is in your market, probably 400 plus, is going to be something you want to tell somebody. So give them the things that they need to win. Then regularly give them feedback. I don't know what the exact perfect ratio is, and sometimes it's easy to focus on the stuff that needs improvement instead of the stuff they're doing well, because hey, we're running a business, we're trying to grow it, we've got fires that maybe we're trying to put out. But when you see things that they're doing well, when they're meeting expectations, or especially when they're exceeding expectations, I like it when they're exceeding expectations. They're doing something spectacular or amazing or above and beyond. Maybe they're doing something they weren't asked to do and they're doing it really, really well. Then you recognize them, and you want to try and recognize and compliment about 3 or 4 times for every one time you offer constructive criticism. And if you can do that around that kind of cadence or pace, then that's kind of the ideal thing. So you want to compliment, you want to give them feedback. Don't just ignore things. If they're not doing things right or whatever, don't just ignore them. Now don't like attack them when they make a basic mistake or a mistake or something like that. So the next thing you got to do is you got to allow them some room to fail. Nobody's going to be perfect, especially if you're hiring junk removal employees that are a bit newer. They're probably going to damage property at some point. They're probably going to back into something in your truck. So you work with them on that. You allow them some room to fail. You don't allow them to fail all the time, but when they make their first mistake, for the most part, except for very, very few things, you give them kind of that room to fail. Quoting jobs is a big one. If it's a really big job or whatever like that, sometimes they're going to miss some quotes, and you allow them that room to fail. You critique, you work on them, and you help them get to the point where they don't make those mistakes anymore. But that's going to be something else. If they're walking on eggshells, afraid of every move they make, they're going to make a mistake, then what's going to happen is they're going to lean on you for everything. And that's not sustainable when you're trying to build a multiple junk removal truck operation. And then you got to be respectful to them. So to earn their respect, it's both ways. Now that being said, if they're not doing if they're not doing their job, you need to still respect them, but as an individual. But you might need to move them out. They might not be the right fit for your company. So never do we ever get to the point where we're not treating others with respect. That should be something that you do all the time. Conduct yourself as a professional. If you expect them to be professional, you need to conduct yourself as a professional. So just basic stuff there. Now, does that mean certain people to be motivated and all? Sometimes you got to talk tough. You got to be tough with them. But it's a toughness that people should understand, that it's tough love. That's what you need to give, is tough love. It's not yelling directly at them or screaming directly at them or whatever like that. Now, sometimes you might elevate your voice, sometimes you might cuss to get your point across or whatever, but it should never feel like a personal attack. That's something else that's really important. Now, are there other things? Yeah, but we're riding down the road right now, and Neb, who's operating the camera, simply just says, hey, this is a question that was asked, and I've got to go off my cuff. So I feel like we've given some pretty good, valuable information there. Now, I am not perfect at this, and I think it actually becomes a little bit easier. There's 2 times it's easier. When you first get started, it's very easy for your employees to like you, because you're in there on the truck and directly working with them, and you feel like there's some brotherhood. You're getting like some brotherhood or whatever here. The second time is after you've gotten size and you've got multiple, you've got layers of management, and the company's being run well, and they feel like things are going in a great direction, and they're advancing and they're earning more money and all that kind of stuff. As you get a little larger, the hard part is when you're in between. When you get in between getting to a good size and kind of like getting out of startup mode, or when you're in between startup mode and then reaching the point where you're a little bit more of a mature business. That individual part, a lot of times there's certain employees that are neglected at that point, and unfortunately that's the way it's got to be. And sometimes they might not like you, respect you, or believe as much in the company at that point, simply because they don't have your time, attention, or they don't have a direct manager's time and attention. And that's an unfortunate part of growth. And that's one of the things when you're growing, you want to bust through that ceiling as fast as you possibly can, because that's when turnover will be higher with employees, all like that, when you're in that period of transition. Those are some of the best ways that I know for employees to like and respect you. Are there more? Yeah, sure. but I think that's a pretty good start right now, and I hope you guys found it valuable. Again, I'm Lee Godbolt with Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. Check us out at junkrA.com. Make sure you hit that like button. Hey, in the comment section here, if you have a question you want answered, then post it in our comments. You can also head over to junkrA.com, sign up for our email list. You can post them there because we're going to be sending surveys out. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.